I'm here today to talk to you about a subject which is slightly different from what you've been used to for the last day and a half. You're all dealing with money, you're dealing with how to double it, triple it, etc. I am the only one who spends all that you earn. So I am from the defense where we cannot earn, but we can earn something much bigger than what you earn. And that's what I value it. And that is the country's honor. So we, in the army, take the oath to preserve that. So my subject of talk today is that. I have had a very large number of incidents which has taken me from life to death. And I've touched death number of times and come back. This is where I find myself in a job which is unique, a job which is very satisfying, a job which can take me away as well as close to humanity. We in the army have a unique method of inculcating leadership qualities, which really is what is required of an army officer to lead. And we have to lead in an area, in an arena, which is wrought with most difficult and most dangerous, challenging situations. There can't be anything more precious than life, and we deal with it. Doctors deal with it, but they are in the comfort of their operation theaters. We are absolutely in the open. In the army, we select people on the basis of scientific methods of selection. Once they come to the army, they go to the academy where they are taught the skills of becoming an officer. Teaching skills is not difficult, but to make a leader, it is very difficult, because a leader is not born. That's what my experience of 34 years tells me. They are made, but they're not made by teaching skills. They are made by constantly being told what are the opportunities. It's for you to take it. If you take it, you take the risk, you understand it, you become a leader. And if you don't, well, you float along. So we have soldiers who have done wonders. They are soldiers who could not rise up to the occasion. Therefore, when I talk about leadership, it is basically those who have been able to take that, not that others have not performed. They also performed. But these fault lines are very deep. But in the face of enemy, when we face death, when we face death of our colleagues, a bigger responsibility than your saving your own self, that is where we are able to obliterate the fault lines and come to the front line. I would like to describe our training this way. At the military academy at Dehradun, we are taught the skills, but at the same time, a lot of times, the motto is flashed on for us to read and apply. It reads very simple. The safety, honor, and welfare of your country comes first, always and every time. The honor, welfare, and comfort of the men you command comes next. And you are the last. You may have all the comfort, you may have the rank, you may have power, but your own safety comes last. That is where the leader is made. The first two don't make leaders that much. It's the last one which makes the leaders. Just to tell you how it transforms into actually performing and making a difference. I have a number of incidents. I have actually been I've gone through so many of them that people have started calling me a man who could not die, because I touched death a number of times, but I returned. I would today only relate two incidents, or two events rather. First one was 1971 Indo-Pak War, when Bangladesh was created. That's what East Pakistan was, as you see here. And it was surrounded by 6 of our states: West Bengal, Bihar, Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, and Mizoram. We had planned to go in from all directions, and I was part of the thrust which started from Agartala. I was a second lieutenant. Just out of the academy, 2 years service, 22 years age. We entered, the war actually started on 3rd, a declared war, but preliminary operations, in the garb of preliminary operations, the operations had actually started 2 days earlier. We entered, and the first objective was a place called Akhara. This is in Pakistan at that time, now Bangladesh. Being a border town, it was fortified heavily. We took 3 days, or rather 2 nights and 2 days, to be able to get over it. It was a tough nut to crack. Thereafter, we were to cross Asuganj, which is in the north. You can see the round. And there it is, Asuganj is located on the banks of river Meghna. And that's the only railway bridge to cross over to the other side. And the other side is Bhairo Bazaar, which is a cantonment. And thereafter, it was a free run up to Dhaka. There were no deployment thereafter. Pakistan or East Pakistan did not ever think that we will ever go up to that point. Here, I would like to say that when we crossed Akhara, we quickly rushed towards Agartala, to Asuganj, and pushed the enemy so badly at such a lightning speed that he did not know what to do. All his troops on this side of the river got trapped between us and the river, with their back towards the river, they did not know what to do. In panic, they blew up the bridge. This was the bridge on the left, which was there intact before the blowing, and this is after that. This is how it looks now when I revisited it recently, or in 2011. This is how it looked. This is made by a Calcutta company by India. Thereafter, we changed our direction because it had lost its significance. So we marched towards Dhaka and we entered Dhaka. I, at the head of my company, as a second lieutenant, was the first to reach Dhaka from the eastern side. It was 16th morning, early morning at 4 o'clock, we entered Dhaka. Here you can see me here. Two incidents here which I would like to relate. One is that when we captured Akhara, the enemy fought very well, but during the exploitation, when we were trying to finish off the odd firers who still continue to fire, there was a soldier, Pakistani soldier, barely 18 years old. He continued to fire on us because he did not realize that we had already captured the entire Akhada. However, we managed to wound him with a machine gun, and he raised his hands and surrendered. My men quickly went and disarmed him, and thereafter wanted to kill him because they were full of rage because our own men had been killed by the enemy. So there was no mercy shown by them. But on my motivation, they stopped. But he was bleeding very badly in the knee. So I told them, let's give him first aid and let's evacuate him to our first aid organization so that he can be repatriated sometime later. They refused to do it. I took out my own shell dressing and tourniqueted his thigh. Seeing this, my men totally changed their attitude. They were later overheard, saying that if our officer can do such a thing to an enemy Jawan, what he can do to us, for us. And therefore, it totally changed my standing among my men. And this is called leadership. And that is where I became not only an officer, but a leader officer. Second incident was in Asuganj. We had pushed the enemy so badly that he had no reaction time and he had blown up the bridge. He had no option but to stick on to that place. He was dominating us, and as we advanced, he was able to get each one of us with a pot shot. He was having a pot shot at each one of us, which means I had about 3 platoons worth of people. Then he asked me he sent me some more reinforcement. That reinforcement also came and also got bogged down because of the effective fire from the enemy side. The CO again told me that you stick on. I told him that the number of casualties that we are having, it is not possible for us to stay on. But he said, don't panic. Since I was under order, I knew it was suicidal, but I had no option. So therefore, I told my men, I took a command decision that while I am under orders to stay on here, I order you people to leave. 3 of my men refused to obey me. They said, if you can die here, so can we. And that is leadership. That is where we are different from others. Just then, the orders came from my CO that please withdraw because the enemy had started a counter-attack. When that happened, I had no option but to jump into a manhole which was close by. But what were the conditions in that is worse than dying. Fortunately, it was a very short distance that we had to cover, and we came out in the open. So what I'm talking about was the leadership, how it gets instilled not by reading and acquiring skills, but by actually thinking of your men whom you command and personally giving example. The next, of course, is Siachen, where I am the first human being on Siachen, along with Colonel N. Kumar, a famous mountaineer. And having been there, the incident was, this is Siachen. On the right is me. We put the tricolor on the Indra Col in 1981, where the conditions at that time were very, very difficult. It's not as comfortable as it is now, if I call it comfort. And there were no surveys, no maps, no satellite pictures, no equipment. Clandestinely, I had to go and buy equipment from an abandoned Everest expedition from Nepal, bring that equipment, which was not to our size. One boot was 8, other was 9, and yet we had to do that. There was no system of evacuation. During this time, we climbed, the rightmost is me. With Siachen, thereafter, this is what happened. If you see, this is what happens to a person when he is there on Siachen at that time. All your skin gets blistered with cold. It actually tears. One of the men that I was part of my team accidentally went into a crevice. I volunteered to go into that because taking out a person from a crevice is nearly impossible. But it was a shallow crevice. I volunteered to go in and pull him out. But in the bargain, my team totally forgot about me. And by the time they realized that I had done this, I was totally dead. If they had moved my finger or my leg or any of my part, it would have cracked and broken. And then it was thanks to Mrs. Gandhi at that time that the helicopters which had been actually sort of not allowed to fly in that area, she gave a special permission and I was evacuated to this thing and I was saved. So these two incidents were the incidents which indicated my ability to be able to lead people in the most difficult terrain, most difficult situations, most difficult conditions, only by giving a personal example. I have been through death, as I told you, so many times that people have started saying that you purposely go into death. But I tell them that, look, to live, I wanted to get rid of or overcome the fear of death. Thank you.